passion, kiss the person that walked away goodbye. Kiss the bitterness goodbye. Kiss the dream that didn't work out goodbye. God wouldn't have allowed it to happen if he didn't have something better in front of you.
The hardest thing to do, the hardest thing to deal with, the hardest thing to put up with is transition. The thing we hate the most is transition. We hate it because it takes us out of our element. It takes us out of our comfort zone. You cannot control everything when you are in transition. It is what it is. It happens like it happens. I can't be pretty about it. I got to come out any way I can. I'm in transition. When my water breaks, get ready. Here I come. That's my sign. Here I come. Touch your neighbor and say, move.
Don't neglect a new life if you've started a new life. Learn the good evil. Summertime. Here's what you must not become: a victim of yourself. What is that insidious voice inside your own head that says, you're too short, it'll never work for you, you're too tall? And here's what you've got to do. Cooperate with the positive side of your life and let faith drive out doubt. Let winning drive out losing. Let positive drive out negative.
There's always seasons of waiting and seasons of harvest. There's seasons of testing and seasons of breakthrough. To everything there's a season and a time for every matter or purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant, a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to break down, a time to build up. A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance.
Anybody can criticize. Anybody can talk scandalously about you because of what you did or did not do. But they don't know your story. They don't know how many storms God has brought you through.
I've learned how to ignore some foolishness. Come on, if you try to respond to everything that everybody got to say and accuse and every opinion that people got, that's all you will spend your time doing. But I've discovered that God has anointed you to do his will, and you do not have to waste your time responding to foolishness. There are people and opportunities that were ordained for your past that are not ordained for your future. They were right for a season, but that season could come to an end. The key is how you handle the closed doors, how you handle the person that did you wrong. Sometimes, instead of kissing them goodbye, we smack them goodbye. I didn't like you anyway. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
The higher we went up, the smaller the circle got. If you really think you're going higher, you got to notice that the higher you go, the smaller your circle. You can't go high and go wide at the same time. If you don't do that right and do it the other way, you're going to keep falling over, so there may have to be some cutting back.
Learn how to survive the winter. Speaking of life in its simplest aspect, the first key to learn in your life on the spinning planet is to learn how to survive. So we cannot rearrange the coming of the winters, but here's what we could do: get stronger, wiser, and better so that we can survive better. Learning to handle the next winter of a divorce, the next winter of an illness, the next winter of a death in the family, the next winter of a loss financially, to be better equipped.
Behind bars. You are spiritually behind bars. You are stuck. You are institutionalized.
Here's what everybody has the opportunity to climb the ladder. Now, first, all you need is what? A chance. But here's the greatest advantage: having the right philosophy. A change and a shift in philosophy here starts to change everything. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is noble. If you work hard on yourself, you could make a fortune, which is exciting.
If you have friends that make you wrong for changing your life for the better, that's their issue. It's not yours.
I want you to be transformed out of the world. Transformed or changed from how you used to think, how you used to act. I want you to change yourself from the world to the Word. I want you to change yourself from those ideas that you got in the world and be ye transformed. How? By the renewing of your mind.
If you're not prepared to go through some bloody stuff and some dirty stuff, you don't want to keep feeding on this kind of word, because it will open up your mind and open up your thinking and open up your concepts until all of a sudden you are uncomfortable in what you were once comfortable in.
We were born to do a special work. You were born to do a special work. You are here for a reason, to do the greater work. Not just work for a living, but to make a difference with your life.
You're thinking on another level, and it's causing a separation. What used to be funny isn't funny anymore. And what you used to be satisfied with, you're not satisfied with anymore. And all of a sudden, you don't fit in the places you used to fit in. And they think you're acting strange. And they say things like, you forgot where you came from. I didn't forget it. I just can't stay in it.
So we've been talking about the power to change yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, you all have the power to change your life. Right now, you have the power to change. Say this out loud. I have the power to change my life now.
Every time I climb up a little bit, I start this pattern where I sabotage, or I start to believe too much, or my relationships go sideways. You're falling into these patterns. There's massive power in beginning to understand that's not who you are. You are not your possessions. You are not your accomplishments. You are not what other people say you are. You are not what you look like. And guess what else you're not? You are not your patterns, but your life becomes a combination and a result of your pattern. The great thing about us is that we can change these patterns if we identify them.
You got to weep with those that weep and laugh with those that laugh. You got to have this full understanding of the game. You got to understand the highs and the lows, the tragedy and the triumph. Just like in your mind, you got to stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't become a victim of yourself. Beware of the thief in your mind that's after your promise. And see if you can't engage in this mental contest and win the day.
When you have a vision, all of a sudden, all of the pain in your life now begins to have a purpose, because you realize, I'm not there yet. I'm on the way. I'm going to keep on believing. I'm going to wait for it. Habakkuk says, write the vision down. Make it plain. Make it clear. Visualize it. See it. Think about it. Share about it.
Why don't you kiss the self-pity goodbye? Being critical, sarcastic, that doesn't look good on anyone. And some people can wear designer clothes. They can have nice hair. They look great on the outside. The problem is, none of that can cover up what's on the inside. If we would spend half as much time on the inside as we do the outside, we'd be much better off.
And when you are frustrated with the people you love, the conflict is overwhelming. It's one thing to be angry at people you don't know, but when you are angry with people you're in covenant with, the confusion is overwhelming, because one thing says love them and the other thing says I want to choke you.
Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue, chase, run after. Success is something you develop, something you become. You attract success. So the whole key to unlock all the treasures is by your own personal development. What you become is much more valuable than what you get. The major question to ask on the job is not what am I getting here? The major question to ask on the job is what am I becoming here?
Everybody wears this public mask, or this social mask, I call it, where it's who they want everybody to think they are. It's the best put version of themselves. And if you're not careful, you begin to compare your own real identity with other people's public mask. Don't compare yourself. Most of the people you see on social media, or even in your personal life, or even when you go to lunch with them or see them at work, they're wearing what I would call a public mask. And oftentimes what we do in life is we compare our real identity that we're working on and we're growing to their mask. Any comparison doesn't serve us. When you're in a disagreement with somebody, it's the mask they're wearing compared to the identity you have, and then you begin to run a pattern to respond to it.
I'm not living in regrets, beating myself up. I'm putting an end to what's been passed down. I'm breaking the generational curse, and I'm starting the generational blessing.
The life is about growth. You can either go back to your comfort zone, and there you won't find any growth, or you must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again. Because you're never going to have a fear-free existence. I mean, some fear is acceptable and legitimate. Being stopped by fear. It's a difference between having a fear and the fear having you.
Live your life being present to who you are and what your superpower is. Don't be a volunteer victim. You've got something. You came here with something. You were chosen.
Is there something you need to kiss goodbye? A hurt? Bad attitude? They were in your past. They don't belong in your future. Forgetting what lies behind, I press to the high calling. You can go through life holding on to hurts, but that will keep you from the new levels, from the high calling. It's time to kiss some things goodbye. Kiss the disappointment goodbye. God has something better. Kiss that failure goodbye. This is a new day.
One of the reasons that people don't change is because they really don't know why they are here on the earth. They don't know and they don't understand their purpose in life. And when you know your purpose, you're going to change when you know your purpose.
If your life and the people that you have in your life creates nightmares for your life, the nightmares that you're having while you're awake, you're witnessing nightmares. Drama, dysfunction, negative people, you consuming your life. It's like, oh, there's negative dysfunction and drama. And you're going to walk into the direction of dysfunction and drama. When you go to sleep at night, those nightmares are going to continue till you sleep because of what you're deciding to do while you're awake.
How long is the night? It's only a few hours. Come on. There's never been a double night. So learn to think day when it's night. And then you must learn to think night when it's day. So you must think negative when it's positive. You must think winter when it's summer. You must not be faked out when it's nice. You must think storm in the summer and not get faked out. Work while it's day. Work while it's day because the night's coming.
So I'd ask yourself today, what are the patterns you're running that don't serve you? Begin to be aware of those patterns. Know who your real identity is. See those patterns when they're happening. Interrupt them. Continue to work on your identity. These two things, I think, are the critical components to making the decisions and the choices in our life. That when we look back, I don't want you to end up in your 80s or 90s and regret the choices you made. Regret the patterns you ran. And that you just unconsciously went through your life without choosing the direction of it, choosing the decisions.
I tell you what, don't ever let the devil steal your hope. I mean, hope is the most powerful motivator. When you continue to have hope, the devil cannot defeat you. And the word hope just simply means that you're expecting something good to happen at any moment. You say, well, I'm sick today. Well, expect to be well tomorrow. And if tomorrow you're not well, then expect to be well the next day.
There comes a point in your life when you look in the mirror and who's looking back at you, you realize that's all you're ever going to be. Wow, what a blow. What a punch in the gut. And I kept seeking. I kept working at it because the one that I was living wasn't me, and he had to go. You want to be successful? Watch successful people and do what successful people do. And so I'm saying to you, you have something special. You have greatness in you. I want you to write this down. Do what works.
It will be hard because life is hard. That's what life is. These challenges that you face, they're going to do their best to take you down. Do not let them bring you down. In fact, let those challenges raise you up. Let them elevate you. Let the adversity you face today turn you into a better person tomorrow.
It's guaranteed the spring will come, but it's not a guarantee of a harvest. Here's the key. You must do something with the spring. Take advantage of the spring. It's an opportunity now to turn things around. It's an opportunity to have a better one than the last one. Now, here's what you must do in the spring. It's a very short season usually. You must hurry. But life at the longest is short. So you must learn to appreciate opportunity and take advantage of it while it's day, while it's time. Now, we call spring a window of opportunity. It may not stay open very long, so take advantage.
You came here to make a difference. You came here to live an impactful life.
Even though you're going through the storm, you're not able to soar as high as you once did, God still gives you grace to run. Run. It gets hard sometimes. You keep running. They talk bad about you out of your presence, but keep running. They don't want to see you get a breakthrough, but keep running. Run. Don't get weary. Run. Don't let them discourage you. Don't let the chickens and geese in your life change your eagle mentality.
Welcome to Fresh Motivation. Today, we explore Stoic quotes to keep your mind strong. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. In your actions, don't procrastinate. In your conversations, don't confuse. In your thoughts, don't wander. In your soul, don't be passive or aggressive. In your life, don't be all about business. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. We should not, like sheep, follow the herd of creatures in front of us, making our way where others go, not where we ought to go. To be stoic is not to be emotionless, but to remain unaffected by your emotions. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive. It's time you realize that you have something in you more powerful and miraculous than the things that affect you and make you dance like a puppet. No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have, and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have. Life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. I begin to speak only when I'm certain what I'll say isn't better left unsaid. Give yourself fully to your endeavors. Decide to construct your character through excellent actions and determine to pay the price of a worthy goal. The trials you encounter will introduce you to your strengths. Just keep in mind, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. He has the most who is content with the least. Be stoic. Just do the right thing. Just keep going. My first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. The average man is a conformist, accepting miseries and disasters with the stoicism of a cow standing in the rain. Not to assume it's impossible because you find it hard, but to recognize that if it's humanly possible, you can do it too. Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours. This is the mark of perfection of character, to spend each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, laziness, or any pretending. Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live, and it is in your power. The trials you encounter will introduce you to your strengths. Remain steadfast, and one day you will build something that endures, something worthy of your potential. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Keep at it, as a blazing fire takes whatever you throw on it and makes it light and flame. Treat whatever happens as wholly natural, not novel or hard to deal with, but familiar and easily handled. The easiest way to live unhappy and unsatisfied is to hope more often not you'll be disappointed. Thus, your main aim should be to do the best that you can right now, and to expect nothing at all, except the way things turn out, despite your best efforts. That's the only path to a peaceful mind. How long will you wait before you demand the best of yourself, and rust season to determine what is best? Do every act of life as if it were your last. The expectations that you bring to your meditation are often the greatest obstacles you will encounter. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Remember that your perception of the world is a reflection of your state of consciousness. The bravest sight in the world is to see a great man struggling against adversity. The greatest blessings of mankind are within us and within our reach. A wise man is contented with his lot, whatever it may be. Happiness isn't outside of us, but actually comes from within. He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary. When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." Begin to begin is half the work, but half still remain again. Begin this, and thou wilt have finished. Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time. The twining strands of fate wove both of them together. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace.